This is just cringe.
What made him this way? What is the attraction? What keeps us fascinated? This is the exposed video of Spinozilla Saurian. So, you read the title of the video, and yes, you're not mistaken. This is an exposed video of a Godzilla YouTuber you might have at least heard of. That YouTuber being Spinozilla Saurian. And yes, you're not mistaken. That same guy that was featured in the first part of the Coffee Saga, that same guy who made that very popular Godzilla NECA video, and that same guy that decided to start a war with the LGBTQ community at Twitter, and the same guy who likes to jerk off at underage characters, and that same guy that masturbates in phone calls with minors in Discord. And yes, I'll talk about all of this in this video. So yeah, this video is going to talk about all of the crimes that Spino did, not only just to me, but the crimes that he also did to my friends and to the other victims as well. And I'm going to explain all of Spino's controversies in chronological order. But you may ask, but Mick, why are you starting beef with a YouTuber that's clearly a Goliath compared to you? Welp, if you actually care to listen, unlike of Spino's many bootlickers that consistently defend him with every single foolish mistake that he did, this video will simply show what type of person that Spino truly is. So let's begin. Yep, your eyes are not deceiving you. Spino is a proud conservative, transphobic piece of shit that likes to shit on others because for their gender identity. Even though that Spino doesn't even know these people personally to begin with and just judges them based on their identity only. And keep in mind, there's plenty of evidence to back this up. Like for example, from this user, Zack the Kaiju. By the way, credits for the info. But he made a tweet exposing Spino for his wrongdoings. But here's the following tweet. Okay, it's exposing time. I'll be exposing a specific individual known as Spinozilla. He is not only a homophobe, but a Nazi too. Some may remember that a while back I said to report him. This is exactly the same idiot. Zack and Spino clearly had a history with each other during the Twitter drama. Keep in mind, some people told me that this drama of Spino being a transphobe first started somewhere around in 2019 or 2021. Okay, let's start with him harassing others because of their sexuality. For privacy reasons, I'm not sending screenshots of that. And plus, because one individual told me not to talk about it. Unfortunately, Zack doesn't have any evidence to back up his claims of Spino basically bullying and harassing people, but by looking at one of the tweets that was sent by Spino's dick riders, aka Doom, it seems like Zack's allegations are actually true. To give you guys more context, when Spino was getting called out by more people on Twitter because of his transphobic takes, Spino, the very mature, wise man that he is, basically made a lot of sock puppet accounts that he used to not only harass people, but to also stalk them as well. Here is Exhibit A of him being a homophobe. Yes, he does retweet this stuff by other homophobes. In this Twitter thread, Zack shows evidence of Spino being a transphobe and a homophobe by him liking and retweeting tweets from other people who are transphobic and homophobic. There are many screenshots of this, but if you want to read them all, the original link of the Twitter thread is in the bottom of the description, so you can read it for yourself. And by the way, in the very last screenshot, it shows the Jewish symbol with the hashtag "it's okay to be racist." And oh boy, is it just me? Or Spino just committed the funny mustache German man move? And now for Spino's other allegations. Some people in Twitter call him out of being a racist, and him being associates, or at least being mentioned with a pedophile named Vincent. Now, I can't really show any type of proof or evidence of this Vincent guy existing, since he's literally has no type of internet presence in any type of social media platform. He's basically a ghost. But in these claims, Vincent is basically a pedophile. But come on guys, it's not like Vincent has any bad influence to Spino or anything. Vincent is clearly a good influence on Spino in the internet. Clearly he has no bad effects on Spino's behavior or personality, right? Right? Like no bad effects at all, right? But to basically summarize the Spino Twitter drama, Spino decided to do some transphobic and homophobic hot takes on Twitter while actually harassing and bullying people for their sexuality, and also stalking and harassing them even more with the sock puppet accounts that he made. So yeah, a very wise decision on his part, and allegedly became associates with a pedophile named Vincent, and possibly Spino being also a neo-Nazi as well. And because of this behavior, he was exiled and clowned on Twitter for his shitty behavior. And by the way, there's one Twitter account that actually found Spino's TikTok account when they expose him. So let's give it a watch.
PSA, if you see someone with a multicolored flag in their room or in their profile picture or have pronouns in their bio, freaking run, because that's pretty freaking gay.
Okay, there's more. Look at this. Shut up! Stop being gay, you suck! And this fucker is like 20 years old. How the fuck is he acting like a kid? Now I bet there's going to be some people out there who are watching this video and they might ask, but Mick, didn't Spino himself made a tweet apologizing his past mistakes? Well, yes, he did make a tweet about his actions, but I really doubt it was an actual apology. To prove you my point, let's read the tweet. So this is something that I like to address since I haven't used this app in a while, and believe me, I don't like being here either. But I kinda wanna see what's going on and promote some stuff I don't fucking know. This thread is gonna be pretty long, so strap yourself in. Back between 2018 to 2020, I said some nasty things towards gay, bi, and lesbian people. I've come back to say I don't hold those opinions anymore. If you're gay, that's fine, as long it's not for me. However, I don't want people to force their beliefs into me. Despite my stance towards gay, bi, and lesbian people, I don't support or believe in the idea of transgenderism or the idea of multiple genders. I know I can already hear pitchforks getting sharpened. Now listen, while I may not support this idea, I don't want to go out of my way to go after anyone who supports it. I strongly disagree with it, but I can't really fight against it. I do believe in the idea of people changing their minds or point of views, but I don't want to force others to do so, much the same way I don't want others to do the same to me. If you are trans, then I don't want to meet you, not out of hate or spite, but more so because it might cause problems between us due to our disagreements, and partly out of respect. If you can believe it, unless you're actively hateful towards others that disagree with you. If you happen to disagree with me and don't want to meet me because of this, then that's fine. It will get us both out of trouble. I just ask you if you don't bother me, and vice versa. If I do happen to run into someone that does go by different pronouns, then I'll try my best to roll with it respectfully. Now, I have been snooping around a bit and I have been hearing people throwing accusations about me, and this is all I have to say. Show me proof. I may have admitted to what I said in the past, but I can't admit to something that didn't even happen in the first place. Heck, it's bad enough that I decided to come back to this horrid site, and at this point, I'm waiting for it to die on its deathbed. I do hope it does clear out some things, and if not, then it ain't my problem. I am moving on from this, and if you cannot do so yourself, then that's your problem. I'm going to try to turn over a new leaf, and I don't want to cause anyone trouble. I just hope the same thing goes for others too. Now, in my personal opinion, this apology from Spino is a big pile of bullshit. By the simple fact how Spino did his apology. Like, let's start off with the simple fact that Spino doesn't really care about the situation by saying shit like how he doesn't like staying in Twitter, or how he said that he wants to promote his stuff in his Twitter. Like, come on, Spino. You have to stay on topic with shit like this. Since it's an apology, you have to stay on topic. You have to talk about the issue in hand. Nobody cares with your issues with Twitter. People are here to read about your apology to see if you're redeemable or not. And to see if you're sincere and genuine with your apology, because they might actually listen. Or they might actually forgive you. If they think you're not genuine or not redeemable, they might not listen to you. They might not forgive you for your mistakes. Now for some other dumb stuff that Spino says in his Twitter thread. He claims that if you're trans, he doesn't want to meet you because he claims that it might cause problems in the future. I'm sorry, but this is like the most judgmental statement I ever read in this Twitter thread. Like, you really think that person is going to cause problems in the future because they're trans? Really? Like, bruh, that's like beyond ridiculous. Like, how are you going to judge somebody without you getting to know them first? But no, I guess Spino's transphobia is so fucking strong. He thinks that all trans people are bad, even though he doesn't even know them personally. Now, the last thing I didn't like about Spino's apology is the thing that Spino mentioned in the 9th part of his Twitter thread. Spino talks about how he saw some accusations being spread about him, and he claims that none of them are true. Now, the reason why I didn't like this part of the Twitter apology is because Spino should be more transparent and he should be more specific on what type of allegations is he talking about. I mean, like, if the allegations are not true to begin with, then what's really the harm of talking about them? Heck, Spino didn't even show any type of screenshots, he didn't even show any type of information, and he didn't even show what type of allegations they are, and plus, he didn't even show who made these allegations. So you know what? Let's do Spino's job, and guess what false allegations did Spino receive in Twitter? Is it the transphobia and homophobic claims? Oh my god! Well, nope. I already mentioned earlier in the video that Spino is already proven to be a transphobe and a homophobe. It's even to the point he goes out of his way to basically harass and bully people for their gender identity. So, the transphobia and homophobic claims are already true. They're not false. Oh my god! Is it the claims that Spino is being a racist and a neo-Nazi? Holy shit! Nope. This is also actually true. It's also been proven that Spino made actual alternate accounts to basically support the ideologies of Nazis, and he also retweeted shit like this. So yeah, Spino is confirmed to be a racist and a neo-Nazi, unfortunately. This is 100% true. It's not a big fat fake. then it has to be the most serious allegation for a YouTuber to have. Spinozilla is a pedophile. Holy fucking shit. That has to be the fake allegations Spinozilla is talking about, isn't it? Isn't those are the fake allegations? Unfortunately, as much it pains me to say this, there is a lot of proof that makes Spino look like a pedophile, but I would like to focus on that in a future part of the video. But what I'm trying to prove is Spino cannot simply rely on hiding information to his own fans, especially to something serious like allegations. Like, come on, Spino, you have to be more responsible, especially coming from a channel like yours with a big following. And plus, it doesn't help the fact that you already have been exposed before in Twitter because of your stupid actions that you did. And recently, there's even an exposed video talking about the crimes that you did recently. To clearly put my message in layman's terms, your actions have consequences, Spino. And to ultimately prove that Spino's apology is just bullshit, Spino is doing the exact same stuff in Twitter all over again. Like, for example, him posting and liking questionable memes about transphobia and homophobia again, him harassing and bullying people again, and there's even more evidence of Spino being an asshole, and overall him being a fucking bad person. So yeah, looks like the Spino rabbit hole actually goes deeper than you think. So, I might as well show the real world the real you, Spino. The real side of you you're so desperate to ignore and hide. Oh boy, I know this is a heavy claim, but don't worry, I have a lot of proof that Spino basically bullies minors for no good reason. And keep in mind, Spino is in his 20s and majority of his victims are literally minors. So let's talk about them one by one. Max, or you guys might know him as the heseigameing, he is a Roblox Godzilla YouTuber and he's well known for his Kaiju Universe videos. And recently he makes Five Nights at Freddy's animations, but unfortunately, from what I know, Max was Spino's first victims of bullying after the Twitter drama. But I think it's best for me to give you guys context on what happened. So let's begin. So back then, during the summer of 2021, I joined Spino's Discord server, that being Ancient Destroyers. At the time, the server has 300 active members, and keep that number in mind for later. But anyways, I was very new to the server at the time, but in my very first hours of me being in the server, coincidentally, Spino was there in one of the VC calls. So I joined in said VC call and proceeded to hang out with Spino and his server for the following summer. And then I met some other cool people in Ancient Destroyers that I still consider friends to this day, and one of them used to be Spino at the time. But since summertime for me ended, my time for Discord needed to be balanced because I was focusing on my studies. But I was able to use Discord in the weekends and some extra free time on the weekdays. But during this time, Max joins the Ancient Destroyer server. But there was one problem, that being Max didn't reach the age requirement of Discord, that being 13+. Max was 11 at the time when he joined the server. So, Spino and Doom decided to ban Max and Ancient Destroyers because they thought it might risk the existence of the server. And usually, with situations like this in Discord, it'll be the end of it, right? Just ban Max and call it a day and forget it happened, right? Well, no. It's not that simple. Because Spino and Doom proceeded to invite Max again and bully Max in the server. But before the bullying incident did happen, Doom sent a message in the announcement channel. Now, Doom claims that he simply wanted to invite Max again because he wants to explain to Max why he cannot be in the server. Now the thing is, this message doesn't really make sense in my opinion by the simple fact you already removed Max in the server. So if you think about it, it doesn't really matter if you tell him why he got banned to begin with, because you're going to ban Max again anyway since he still violates the age requirement rule. And another thing, why are you relying on regular members of the server to tell Max he's not supposed to be there in the server? That responsibility goes to the mods, not on regular members of the server. And also, by the way that Doom worded his own message, it feels like he wants the members of the server to basically attack Max in his DMs. And in my personal opinion, this message should have been given to the mods of the server, not to the fucking main announcement channel. Now, because of Doom inviting Max again to Ancient Destroyers, a VC call between Max and Spino and his staff members happened. And unfortunately, Spino actually went out of his way to bully Max in the VC call. Yes, I'm not joking. A grown-ass man, that being Spinozilla, bullied an 11-year-old boy. And to show you proof that this actually happened, here's some witness testimonies from Max's friends that were there in the same call. Okay, so from what I remember, Spino basically called in Max to the VC, then he said he was going to do something with him, but made it sound like it's something positive. So that got Max excited. Then Spino proceeded to ban Max in front of everybody that was in the VC at the time. It was such a dick move that even Doom got upset by it. What I remembered, Spino found that Max was young, so he took him to another VC and started screen recording. And Max was very nervous, poor kid, and Spino started to talk to him nicely, saying, "Don't worry, everything is going to be fine." Sounds like a pedophile. And he kept saying everything is okay, and we were going to make a special place for you. And Max believed it and listened to Spino. Then out of nowhere, Spino banned him and laughed while saying, "Haha, I banned him," while still kinda laughing. That's what I can remember. Afterwards, everyone disliked Spino for a day or two. Hey Mick, I wanted to do this in DMs just in case. So if I could remember, Max was in Ancient Destroyers VC and we were all there. They all recognizes Max's age because of his voice, if I could remember. So then Doom and Spino proceeded to bully him. Then Spino told him he was going to make a server just for him. And then just fucking banned him. We all bullied Spino after that. We were telling him all at once to not to do this again. And I don't think he understood the message, judging by what he is today. That's all I could remember. So yeah, Spinozilla himself bullying minors in his own Discord server. That is totally a good idea. It's not like it's going to backfire or anything. It's not like Max actually has friends that will call out Spino for his actions, right? Well, if you cannot tell from my very sarcastic tone of voice, it totally backfired. A lot of the members of Ancient Destroyers were very pissed about the situation. So you know what Spino and Doom did? Well, they decided to punish anybody that talked about the situation at the time in the server. And yes, I'm not joking. Here's a screenshot that basically proves that this actually happened. In my personal opinion, this shows you how much Spino does not take any type of form of responsibility for his own actions, and he tries his own best to actually avoid said responsibilities. And keep in mind, Spino in many times did this again and again and again, and he never fucking learns. Like for another example, I remember a time when Spino himself basically insulted a suicidal person with a suicide joke. And yes, he did this shit in his own Discord server. And for this video, I was able to get a recording of that same guy that I mentioned. He's going to talk about all of his bad experiences with Spino. So, may I introduce you all to Drunkie. Take it away, my guy.
First off, I remember, the time when I first met Spino, and I was in a VC with him, with a few others. I don't think you were there at that time. A few other people were there, and he pointed out that I was a Toho fan because he saw the Toho profile picture. And he was like, wow, that's cool. And over time, he really only talked to me mostly about the Toho stuff, mildly about like some Godzilla stuff and a few other things. And I thought, in my mind, during that time, I thought I was like, I thought he was cool because he wasn't. I was like saying to myself, he's like a new fan. Let's go easy on him, you know. And over time, I got comfortable with him, and then I got comfortable with you guys. And over time, when I saw that Spino was doing these weird stuff, it was like that would always like contradict himself. Like he'd make an argument, and then like all of a sudden everyone's just batting on him, and I was like, hey, I want to join in that too. And I remember he was making an argument at some point where he was talking about toys. I think you remember this one, or you might want.
Yeah.
And he was talking about the amount of toys that he had, and he talked to me, and I showed him my entirety of my Toho collection, and I think he got jealous at me, and he called me a no-life, and it was like this and that, and why are you so rich? And he kept throwing questions at me. And at that time, I thought to myself, I was like, okay, let's make a getaway excuse and say that I have to go pee, be right back, and left the VC. I didn't think of it that much at that time. And right after that, I think you guys had a certain drama about bootlegs, and I heard about that. And if I remember, Spino wasn't in a private VC, like talking crap about like you guys, like left and right. I didn't think of it that much, but over time, I heard from both sides, especially from Maro and a few other people. He told me like the few details, and I was like, I was still neutral at that time because I didn't want to hurt anyone's feelings, and plus I was like kind of like the second highest ranking moderator at that time, so if I did anything, it'd cause a lot of havoc. And especially especially during those incidents, every time when something bad would happen to quote unquote something bad would happen to Spino, I would kind of stay neutral and out of it. But sometimes I'd be dragged into it. He would like drag me into incidents and talk to me, and he'd like, hey, if you have any advice and yada yada, then you know, it'd be nice. I'd give him advice, but he wouldn't really follow it that much. Doom, he really only listens to Doom's advice at that time, and Doom's advice was pretty like, it was his advice. It wasn't something that would be catering to Spino, and plus it wasn't even the right moment for that type of situation. And I remember after a few days he DM'd me, hey, Fuku, or Drunkie at that time, what do you, how do you win an argument? And this is I'm only naming out the major parts, things that stand out, and what might have caused the development. Anything else is just kind of like white space. There's nothing really to point out. But I'm just pointing out the important parts that will go into mind later. But anyways, back to what I was saying. He DM'd me. He was like, hey, how do you win an argument? And I was like, you make a bunch of evidence, you make good arguments. And he was like, no, I want you to be in depth. No, that's literally how you argue with someone. And he was like, I want to win the debate, yada yada yada. And at the time, I still wasn't aware that the whole like toy, or not even just the toy drama, a few other dramas happened after that. Like I remember he was questioning me a lot, and after a while, it was pretty good. He went on a quote unquote break for a moment, which was only lasted for a day, and I think after that, there was a GC called the Chill Boys. I don't know if you remember that correctly. Um, yeah, and on the Chill Boys, a lot of interesting stuff would happen there, and I think Spino would grow like this fuel that would go like surging inside of him because like he kept on arguing with you, like guys. He kept arguing with me. He kept like throwing stuff at me, and we were like, and because Spino didn't realize how hypocritical and contradictory he was, especially when he's like talking about anything. And he's like, "Why am I always wrong?" And then we'd like show him why he's wrong, and then he'd like deny the evidence completely, and we just kept throwing it at him until he like accepted the fact that he was actually wrong. And in fact, yes, in the situation, he was actually wrong because he was saying like interesting opinions about certain movies, and the fact that he had like biases towards certain toys as well in brands. Well, and at that time, I thought everything was going fine in Chill Boys until like I had kept having private talks with the Besties members, even though I wasn't even in the Besties at that time. And I remember correctly the that Chill Boys kind of died down when Spino just kind of like quote unquote took a break. It died down, and we all did our own things as well. And he only really took a break for like 2 days, but even though he was on his break, he was like, he would tap in and out of online, and he'd use invisible mode, and I had a Discord UI at that time that had the ability to check if someone was actually online or not. But yeah. And as time moved on further and further, I started to see weird things in Doom and Spino's relationship. I figured out that Doom was 13 and Spino was around, like, what? Like,
Almost in his 20s.
yeah, he was in his 20s, and I was like, is there any kind of like... And by the way, this is the time when people still didn't know about my age at that time, which I'm really glad. And...
Ooh.
yeah, this is when people used to still think I was a full functioning adult, which somehow kind of like, yeah. But you know, back to what I was saying. He was. I really thought things were going uphill at this moment, but nothing really major happens at this point because let's just skip all the way to the time when he like deleted his server. Let's see. Oh yeah, deleting his server. Ancient Destroyers was an integral part to Spino. I don't even know the reason why he wanted to delete the server, but I bet it was the most stupidest reason ever. And Spino started to isolate me and a few others, and he was only close to people that were quote-unquote working with him, like the whole universe where it's Godzilla, the Avas, and the Transformers. You get the idea. And at that time, I saw those animations, or really just animations. The animating part was really only the Besties and not the Spino part. But yeah, it was pretty fun. I actually liked looking at those, and it was pretty funny to me seeing Freddy Fazbear and Godzilla go time travel and stuff. But he was, I think, if I remember correctly, he also DM'd me about how people were criticizing his works and whatever, and the fact that he wasn't getting enough views on his Toho videos and a few other things as well, and just like he was just like bawling, and he was whining over like the most simplest things that usually a normal human being wouldn't really like care about most of the time. And yeah, and when he deleted his server, there was Linkamus's server, and he had a few other servers that he was in that he still talked in, especially Linkamus's server. He was active in that. And in that server, that is when things got heated, and I think this is like the time when he started to like do interesting things with like the things in his videos, especially the Godzillas and the people that actually helped him out, whatever. And there was a lot of problems going on. during that era, and I remember it was a heated argument where he was straight up like nitpicking everyone that he saw. Like he nitpicked Maro, he nitpicked like I think Link. Yeah, he nitpicked Link, he nitpicked Birbo. Actually, wait, no, he muted Birbo, so who knows? And after that, I think he nitpicked Mick because I think he called you like I think he called you a few interesting insults, and he nitpicked me. Wait, no, I don't. He didn't nitpick me. In fact, I decided to like, okay, I'm gonna break the silence right now because after everything that he said, everyone was silent, and I was like, okay, Spino, and then yada yada. I scream at him, and then I give him better insults, and then I call him an Italian because he's bipolar. And then he's like laughing at the fact, oh my god, you called me an Italian. And then like Doom goes join in the VC, is like, what's happening? And Spino explains, and then like Doom makes a counter argument to my argument, and then it wasn't really good when in fact it was actually true. And then like that's like, I think that's the time when I ended connections with Spino. Everyone else was kind of like still neutral because like you guys still wanted to make that video, and well, unfortunately, that wouldn't last long. And I think, yeah, that's kind of like my experience too. And the more I got into it, the more I was like, man, I really like. I was like, I'm done being like neutral, and I'm done like not like, I'm done not being on anyone's side. Like, I was like, I need to see like. I need to like invite a bunch of old friends, and then I was like, oh hey, I still have Maro friended, and then I asked him if I could join the besties, and now I'm here. And when I was learning about Spino's like misdeeds, is like my eyes were opening way further, and a lot of the explanations to me like started to stand up a little. And I remember you showed me so much evidence that was against him. I saw his Twitter, especially his Twitter. I saw the DMs he had with others. I saw the Instagram group chats and a few other things as well, and those kind of freaked me out. I was like, what? And in my time, I thought that he was just a whiny like average internet user, but I just like opened up my eyes. I was like, holy crap, this person is just like deserves a special place in hell. Yeah, that's pretty much all I have to say, because like he kind of like treated me like he had a favoritism thing, and I didn't really like it at that time.
It like put you on like a high pedestal or something?
Yeah, I was second to Doom basically, and I thought it was like, hey, he only likes me because of Toho, but he doesn't like the others because they criticize him. And it was like, he doesn't. I remember all the times he snapped at me. But anyway, let me tell you a very important story. So I think I remember the story where we were all arguing with Spino over like something really dumb, and then he made it personal, like really personal, and then he was like fake crying or whatever. And at that time, Birbo, Maro, you were there, a bunch of people there, especially like I'd say 87% of the besties were there, including Doom and a few other people who were in the Ancient Destroyers, and they were all like, we were all like against Spino and whatever. And then he takes it too far, and he tells me to straight up kill myself. Like he said to me, like, Drunkie, and then like you should go like hang or kill yourself. And that was kind of heartbreaking at that moment, because like I remember 1 month ago I was like really suicidal at that time. And yeah, and that was like a very heart-wrenching moment to me, because that was like the time when I started to like distance myself from Spino.
By the way, I would like to say thank you, Drunkie, for sharing this information with me, since, not gonna lie, it really proves that Spino is even more toxic and more bad on the way he treats his own friends in the internet. But, to basically summarize the recording, Spino never learned anything from his past drama in Twitter and just proceeded to be more toxic in the future in his Discord. Like, for example, him being more judgmental and him being jealous to the people he meets, starting unnecessary drama and arguments with his own friends in his server, and saying offensive jokes to Drunkie, a person that was suicidal at the time, and Spino nitpicking people, and pretty much a lot of stuff. And there is more stuff from the recording that I would really love to explain in more detail, but I guess it'll be more better if I'll talk about it in the future. But this is not where the drama ends. No, it just simply starts, because Spino just simply never learns from his mistakes and just continues on from his toxicity. So let me tell you about his next blunder, that being his controversies in his own YouTube channel.